everyone? It's your boy Norn Rad 89 here, back again with my buddy Steve. I know we took a couple weeks off, a little hiatus, but we are here to tackle the next few episodes of season 2 of Courage. And Steve, how are you feeling about these next 3 episodes?
I'm feeling good. I know we were talking about before we hit record, these are some really sci-fi heavy episodes, which was cool to see. Not necessarily a break from horror, because I think there's a lot of overlap with two genres, so that's awesome. And we get a nice little lore addition to Nowhere, right?
Oh yeah, that's what's cool. This was a nice grouping of episodes because I thought they were all pretty funny, sci-fi heavy, and yeah, we get a little bit of information about Nowhere and a little bit about Muriel, all kind of stuff. So I'm excited. It's gonna be a fun episode today. So
Yeah.
should we dive right into what is this, episode 4, right? Episode 4, the first part?
Is episode 4, part 1. Yeah.
All right, let's look that. That is Courage Meets the Mummy. After being accidentally summoned by an archaeologist, Professor Frith, the mummy of Mayan Baker seeks revenge for the injustice that was done to him thousands of years earlier. So how are you feeling about the mummy vibes with this first episode and everything?
Yeah, this is fun. Obviously, a good callback to classic Universal monsters. We've had Frankenstein callbacks. We've had a werewolf callback. So
Yeah.
is this our first mummy? Almost like, was there another mummy before this?
Well, we had, kind of the Ramses thing. That was probably like our first kind of.
Yeah, this felt more classic mummy, right? Where
Ramses that was
very like just around the slab. This felt like we're going into a tomb. We're doing, there's a whole, there's a whole different lore buildup.
Oh yeah, and it was kind of cool that the mummy, getting to Nowhere, and this one is kind of a whole stick. It's like a whole separate side plot line of the mummy actually trying to get to Nowhere in this episode.
Yeah, the hijinks. It was pretty fun. Just sort of the mummy's own motivations in this were really cool. I mean, I love the lore that they built around the we're getting reincarnation. We're getting sort of past life. What do they call that?
Oh yeah, Muriel and Eustace are apparently, I guess, deep descendants from the people that were back in the
day. Yeah. So the whole thing, right, is so there's an injustice, right, where the baker gets
these cookies that he makes for the queen or the
Yeah. So the baker sort of gets pinned and for this thing that having, was it eating the cookies or whatever it was. And so obviously this is Eustace's. So is it the mummy is Eustace, right? It's the reincarnation.
No, the mummy is the reincarnation of is the baker, and Eustace was the descendant of the man who was kind of selling the cookies on the side, was taking them and slowly selling them on the side.
That's right. Because he does get mummified at the end, and I was like, that's why. But it's interesting, right? Because it's sort of in lore sets Muriel and Eustace up as this almost it's almost like a cosmicness to it, right? It's just sort of this repeating of history with these two.
Yeah, they're tied together forever and ever. Yeah, Muriel and Eustace, even back in the day, decades and decades earlier, they were somewhat tied together, which is funny.
Yeah. But I mean, I love sort of them really diving into, right, because it's Mayan lore here, right? Right. I really do like them bringing in actual nods to just historical mythologies and these ideas, which is really cool to see. Grounds it a little bit more.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, it makes it feel more realistic, and I think that's what. I think all the episodes in this kind of grouping, they added a little bit more layers and nuances to the Nowhere itself, and also the characters and stuff that live there, which is really awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I should have written that. I remember there being some funny stuff going on in the tomb. I'm trying to remember, when the mummy sort of first gets out. I'm forgetting the line, but it's sort of what I'm talking about. I can't remember.
The
But it was
line,
the
I'm
mummy.
so bad at remembering lines sometimes. I remember the end because she wraps him up in Eustace's favorite cloth and he gets very upset because or his sheet. He wants to go back and get his sheet and everything.
Oh yeah. It, you know what it is? It's a very dry sense of humor sometimes with Courage. It obviously gets very silly and goofy, but then there's also like there's just like these quick like throwaway lines that like are just very funny, and you can tell that it's really just the writers kind of taking a piss a little bit at.
Yeah, they're just like something. Even like when a Courage will say some lines and he'll have even a different voice. They'll drop his octave a little bit or change his accent like a tiny bit just to give him like a certain way to about where he's saying a comment.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. No, but this was a fun one.
Oh yeah.
And it is really sort of, I guess, thinking of part B in this. It's not the first classic throwback that we do get.
Nice. Yeah, that is a nice segue into our next one. Would you like to
Yeah,
introduce the next
yeah.
one?
So part B for episode 4 is Invisible Muriel. So I was thinking almost like the Invisible Man, right?
Yeah.
So Muriel becomes invisible when she wears a magical gem given to her by Courage unknowingly. When she is soon captured by the government, Courage and Eustace, with the help of Dr. Vindaloo, set out to rescue her. So Courage kind of digs up this like gem, this like shining bluish, it's blue, right?
Yeah, it was blue.
Gem and wants to give it as a gift to Muriel. And of course, Eustace doesn't like that. She's getting a gift, favoritism, jealous. And then slowly, right? So she starts to like the effects of this gem is like turns you invisible.
Yeah, so she slowly starts to fade away because the next day when she's making breakfast, like you see her a little bit, but you can see through her.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a slow process, but it's like, but the gem's still there. So I'm like, this is like not a really good power, right? Because you would hope that the gem itself would also turn invisible if you were going to use this for anything.
Oh yeah, because like even if you had clothes on, like I mean, you'd put your clothes would be seen. You couldn't hide it in a pocket, and then like you said, if you're fully invisible, I'm pretty sure if you swallowed it, you'd probably still see it too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like, well, you are stuck invisible a bit after wearing it, right? So I
Yeah.
guess it's like, okay, you can wear it, strip down, and then you just run around naked, but you're invisible, so it's all right. But I love this because you also sort of get like a little bit of government. There's a lot of government stuff in this show, which I kind of like. It's very
That's true.
because this is like the Midwest, it almost does give you like an Area 51 vibe
Yeah.
in nowhere, right? So there's always a lot of government stuff. So there's like,
Yeah, because they have the satellites. They're very particular. They're really close to looking at nowhere, and like where the gem is, they're already watching them.
yeah, yeah, nowhere is really on their radar for a lot of these episodes.
And what did you think about those silly secret agents, like the dancing, like kind of posing secret agents? How they came in and when they went to steal Muriel?
Oh my! So yes, these synchronized sort of movements and choreography, and it's very like, I guess yeah, they're especially like secret agents in movies. I mean, nowadays, they're taken a little more seriously, right? But this is definitely sort of taking a shot at like really silly choreography in these action movies. Um,
Yep.
and that's always fun.
They have
What
to pause for their lunch break. That was so cute, and they're like, "Deet,
Yeah,
deet, deet, deet."
of course, you got to fit in lunch. What did you think about sort of the cure and the return of Dr. Vindaloo, who really has become a major reoccurring character?
Yeah, Dr. Vindaloo seems to be like, yeah, one of our most common characters, definitely coming back, and he's always eager to, I guess, kind of offer advice. He's never like making the situation worse, but he never makes the situation any better. He's just like there to just kind of, be there.
Well, he has no sense of urgency, which is very
No,
fun. I mean, he helps, he figures out the cure, but it's just
yeah.
sort of like when he stumbles on it or like when he gets there. So, you
I
can't
know
really
it's
rely
was
on the healthcare system here in nowhere is not very good.
no, yeah. And for it to be, yeah, like the cure is what Muriel's secret stinking dog food, the secret food that she makes for the dog.
It is the dog food. And well, that's also funny. That becomes the running gag too, is that she just doesn't want them to take her recipe.
Yeah, she's very, yeah, Muriel's very protective of her recipes because we know, like, for a fact, like, mostly Muriel's recipes have all been passed down generations by all
Mhm.
these fantastic characters that we're going to meet and all these descendants that they're descended from.
Right, right. Oh, yeah, the weird family descended. But yeah, no, I just love it that she doesn't even realize what's going on. She's like, "Oh, they just threw after my recipe." I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah, she's like, don't tell them anything. Like, she's all locked up. She's like, doesn't even care. She's invisible. She's like, don't give them anything.
Yeah, I just love how like unaware that Muriel and Eustace are. It's like, I mean, by this point we're in season 2. They've seen it all, yet their mind is always like not where it should be. Like courage is just always, which I guess is sort of the running gag, right? Is that courage is
Yeah.
always the one to sort of know and like is always first to know what's up.
I know that's what's kind of cool is the show. It flips it on its head because I mean, as you're an adult and living in the real world, it's typically more like for us. That's what we do. We're the ones taking care of all the chaotic situations, and our animals are the ones that are kind of there just to blatantly comfort us, and they're naive
Mhm.
to the situation and everything. So it's really fun that this show just plays it completely the opposite way, with the characters.
Although I mean, they'd say that dogs are pretty intuitive. So in the sense of like they know when an earthquake's coming. Maybe I don't know. I
Oh
don't know.
yeah.
I don't know how smart my dog is. If we had the earthquake, I don't think she made a peep.
Oh, no.
And yeah, no. And now 4th of July is coming, so she's going to be,
Yeah, I
cowering in
know
the
that's a
bedroom.
traumatic day sometimes for a lot of dogs. Yeah, I know that day.
Yeah, and veterans. Oh, shaking my camera. Yeah, and veterans. Jeez. Anyway, besides the
Yeah.
point.
Should we get
uh,
on to, was it episode 5 now? Should we get on to the
yeah,
next one?
episode 5.
All
Funny
right.
enough, this is. Oh, wait, no, you introduce it first, and then I'll go into it.
Oh, that's fine. Was it the Humane Habit Trail, right? Is our next one?
Human habit trail. Yeah.
Yep, or human habit trail. A gerbil doctor pretending to sell vacuums shrinks Muriel and Eustace, planning on using them for an experiment of his abstract products. Courage sets out to win his owners back. So I thought the character, our villain in this one was quite devious. What did you think of this one?
I love the gerbil. I love, I love our Dr. Gerbil. This was funny enough. I think this might have been my favorite out of the batch. Just kind of how bonkers it is of an idea, and I sort of love the spin on the gerbil, sucking people up in the vacuum because
And
gerbils and
shrinking.
hamsters and all those small pets are sort of notorious for having horrible fates. So I
Yeah.
think it's very funny that a gerbil here is, vacuuming up people, shrinking them. And the old lady with the lint is hysterical in this. But
That was creepy. I know she's really creepy.
and the song in this is stuck in my head. The "It's a Gerbil's World" song is
Yeah.
very creepy, and it is yeah, I don't know. It's definitely an earworm. It's not a good song.
No,
It
no.
is a it is a creepy song that kind of gets stuck in there. Probably because it almost sounds like a children's theme song for like a show or something. It has just
Yeah, but it has that horror twinge to it. Like a lot of those songs, any of those kind of, songs that they maybe would use children to fall asleep, that they would like use for us to fall asleep as
yeah.
kids. You can use those in the horror movies in the way you use them in aesthetic wise. It very much fits the horror genre.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, and then of course, like the gerbil doing experiments on them is like, classic. Like there's a lot of testing on small animals, so like I love this sort of like flip it on the other species, right?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of this one. I would probably say a lot of creepy, heavy vibes. I loved it because, like you said, as he's going through the tunnel and the gerbil song, and like we keep cutting to courage, and then he eventually has the cotton swabs in his ear. I also got like kind of a Willy Wonka and the
Mhm.
chocolate factory vibes, like when they're going through the tunnel and you see all this stuff around and everything.
Oh yeah,
That was it. Kind of gave vibes like that. But it was funny because you see all his products. He's got all the products and all the stuff that he uses and experiments with.
yeah. Well, I'm a sucker for stories of like when people are like shrunk, and like when you make like ordinary stuff like huge and sort of either creepy or like you said, it sort of has this like Willy Wonka esque effect. But I think you obviously before we record, I think you mentioned like like Honey I Shrunk the Kids sort of thing, right? Where and I know like Rick and Morty did an episode like that. I think they went into the body, so it was very almost like Magic School Bus-esque.
Oh yeah, I know that was a callback to Magic School Bus. Wow, that's a good show. That one's a good callback.
Right? That was when they go in the there's like a theme park in the body, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, no, but like stuff like this, I love that. Like and there's a opportunity for like a lot of cool imagery, which I think they do take advantage of in this episode.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I said, this is probably so far creepiest and scariest one out of the three segments that we've been talking about, and it was very cool. And like I said, the gerbil, I would love to see this character back again. If he does make another appearance, it'd be great to see him again.
Yeah. But yeah, should we move on to part 2?
Yeah, let's go.
So episode 5, right? Part B. Mission to the sun. The sun is about to go out, so Courage and his owners go to outer space to fix it. Meanwhile, a tiny space-dwelling creature named Mustafa al-Bacterius goes inside Muriel's brain and starts making her go insane so that her mission ends up disastrous. He wants them to fail because he, along with all the other aliens, see all Earthlings abusing their planet, and that all aliens like the dark. Obviously, right. So what did you think about this very sci-fi episode?
Oh yeah, I thought this one was very sci-fi heavy. I'm glad that they had the name of the alien in there because I was trying to remember his name before we got on the stream and I couldn't remember it. I just remember it was very kind of ridiculous. And then I also thought it was funny that they were doing this for a timeshare. They're doing this for a timeshare, and then they end up finding out that their timeshare is on Mars.
Yeah.
So just to trust Muriel and Eustace and Courage, like you would think they must be the smartest people in Nowhere to be able to be trusted to do something like this.
I think only people in Nowhere. But no, this is a fun one. I obviously, I think they definitely sort of showed their hand, the writers in this one, where like obviously there was a lot of episodes prior to this with like environmental message and like so I think this is definitely them saying like, yep, nope, that is what we're doing with a lot of these episodes. Like there is definitely like a taking care of the planet sort of message here, which I love to see. I think a lot of I being a Power Rangers fan, I always remember those Power Rangers were always cleaning up the park, always doing something, right?
Yeah.
There was a lot of environmental stuff in the early Rangers, and this is definitely, this is 2001, so it's definitely within that 10 years. I think this was a big part of children's TV, was like the environmental messaging. But I love to see that. I sort of love just the chaos on the ship. Like my favorite gag in this one, it was Courage at the console, and he just keeps getting like hit with like random crap because he doesn't know what button to press.
Yep.
And it's just like your typical sort of slapstick gag, but it's just effective because it's Courage and it's funny, it's cute.
Oh yeah, because he gets that slapsticky comedy thing, and then Eustace kind of gets his own side plot thing where he loses his hat through the toilet and it gets thrown and like stuck in the little toilet going into space.
Yeah. But they end up stuck on. Are they on Mars by the end of it?
The timeshare is on Mars. That's where they go to celebrate basically after they're done. But yeah, they first have to they get to the sun. They land the ship on the sun and it completely like melts and it's like just melting everything around Muriel. And apparently like their suits are that fantastic, like they can just straight up stand on the sun, which is cool.
Yeah, totally,
we must
totally normal.
And then Courage has to go down to the basement. And remember, we have the stairwell that has the basement, and he runs down and changes the light bulb to the sun.
That's how it works. I love it. Yeah, the sun is like a solid thing, right? With a light bulb. It's very the physics in the sun. I love that they have the environmental messaging, but it's funny. It's at the same time is like how loose they are with like actual like science.
Oh yeah.
Love it.
The solutions and the solutions and the actual story beats and story plots like that you see on screen are very, yeah, like you said, Looney Tunes style, but it has a strong subtextual message in a lot of the episodes.
Yeah. Well, no, I love that you said Looney Tunes. Like there is definitely like a well, we talked about like Hanna, like there's definitely big like Hanna Barbera like nods. This wasn't Hanna Barbera, right? Was it?
No, this is at the time. No, this is just like a partner company thing, I think, because it's under the Cartoon Network banner. So they have like
Okay.
they own the Hanna Barbera, a lot of their properties and stuff. So I think it's just because it's under the Cartoon Network banner.
But Scooby's Hannah.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, because I know they do cross over, which I'm so excited to cover that movie with you. I'm like, right, I'm enjoying the ride with the show, but I'm like, I'm excited to get to that.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, no, this is definitely a fun one. But yeah,
On to our next one, right? Episode 6, segment A, right?
6A, yeah.
All right. Courage the Fly. Dr. Lung, a young Chinese American inventor who is experimenting, turns Courage into a fly. Courage soon must figure out how to save the farmhouse while still in fly form before a giant satellite falls on it.
Yeah, well, we do get a fly reference, right? I feel like we get a fly. Right? I mean, I feel like it's
Oh,
pretty on
yeah.
the nose here.
This would have to be. And this is also the second time I think we've seen Dr. Lung. We've seen this guy before. Like we saw him in his little sporty car or something in
Yeah.
another episode, like in I think in the same grouping of these episodes.
So Long does show up in season 3.
Oh, season 3. Okay.
But maybe I mean, plot like he's relevant to the plot in season 3.
Okay.
But if he has shown up before, probably.
Yeah, I could have sworn we've seen like this character before. I'll have to rewatch the episodes and maybe I'll pop it up and we'll talk about it in the next grouping.
Yeah. So I mean, he's relevant to the plot again, like next season. But they do very they do this thing in the show, right, where they have very similar character designs.
That's
And
true.
whether it's just a background character, if it's like a split-second thing, that person ends up showing up as like a character with like a name, usually later on or whatever, or if it's like the same guy who's like like a ship captain, an admiral, or this right that dude, like
General or a pilot,
everything,
yeah.
pilot, or so yeah, I mean we do see a lot of the same faces sort of pop up, and I feel like that's intentional. I don't think they're just like lazy with character designs. Like I think there's definitely this small world intention where it's almost very like dreamlike, where we have people like it's like we have like guest stars in our dreams. It's always just like, how are we creating all these faces, right?
Oh yeah,
um
I've heard that too. Yeah, like I've heard things like that. So yeah, definitely. I think, like you said, they're planting seeds. They're planting seeds for the future as they drop these characters in.
but I mean, outside of that, the episode itself, I really sort of loved how Courage looked as the fly in this. I thought it was really cool. Very, we get a little bit of like body horror there, right?
No. And this
Yeah.
is the first one where because of the governments and they're watching them in the satellite and everything, this is the one where we find out where nowhere actually is, that it
Yeah.
actually is in Kansas.
Yeah, so we do actually know where nowhere is, which is very cool. So I wonder if we're going to be getting a little more like drops like this, as the show progresses. Because I feel, and I think I've said this in season, like when we were covering season 1, it's like I just feel like there's so much, like probably stuff in the show Bible that they didn't like bring out right away, but they like hint and nod to things. And I'm gonna be very curious by the end of the show, like if we could sort of pick up on some extra things.
Oh yeah, it'll be very exciting. Like I said, that would be so cool to see if they actually did have like just a, like you said, like a show Bible or like everything Courage, like just in a book. I would totally buy that.
Yeah.
But
Well, every show has a Bible. I just wonder like how much lore did they really think through, versus like coming up with it as it goes along.
Oh yeah, because I've noticed too, as the director, I think is pretty much Dilworth. I think has been the director for just about every episode that we've seen. The writers change every once in a while, but I think our creator of the show. The showrunner has been the director all the way through so far through the first 2 seasons.
Very singular. Is that David? Oh, John Dilworth, right?
John Dilworth, yeah, he's he always comes up for the director name when I see the director.
Yeah, it's storyboarded by John. And also, I noticed for season 2, it's a lot of David Cohen is a big name too. So he shows up. Wikipedia can always be wrong as well. So grain of salt, but David Cohen also is a big name here. It looks like, so definitely like very team or singular focused, which is always interesting. I love when a director is able to do like at least most of it, because then it definitely has a very singular vision.
Oh yeah. And he obviously has like a huge passion for this, because like if you're that committed and you want to keep bringing us this content, it's something that you care about.
Yeah. So what did you? I mean, I think I talked a little bit about what I thought about the episode, but what did you think of The Fly?
This one, I thought was funny. Like I said, a lot of strong sci-fi vibes with the whole satellite government, all that kind of stuff. Influence. We have the courage being turned into the Fly, so the comedy gag, with Eustace trying to swat him and crush him and everything. I like was it the bug spray and the lights? All the gags with the insect stuff was kind of funny. How he's attracted to the light and he's just like,
I don't know why I'm doing this. Yeah. But I like it. That one actually, that one made me crack up. Probably my funniest line out of this batch of episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So definitely an episode that, like I said, I'm pretty happy with every single segment in all these episodes. Like I said, they were all funny, they were all kind of creepy in some way, or had these cool vibes about them, or like something to say, like you said, something subtextual or actually important to say. And this one I think was cool because it made Courage, with him being a fly, he had that difficulty of having to stop the satellite. I thought it was funny that he gets into there, and like of course there's the book, like operating satellites for dummies or whatever, and he knocks it off the shelf.
I don't think that's the first dummy book to appear in this show. I think we've had other something for dummies books.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Otherwise, he just goes to the computer.
I think it was the script writing one. I think it was for writing a script.
Right? Yes.
I think so. Yeah.
Good recall. So I knew he had something. That was a joke they had before. I mean, my favorite. I mean, this is just a call to Chucky, but I love Voodoo for Dummies, and that's like Tiffany's Bible. But it could be a call to that. I think by this, Bride of Chucky was out by this point, so I'm sure if they're horror fans, they probably saw it.
Definitely.
But yeah, so our last one, another recurring villain. We have Kat's Candy. Katz is determined on winning the Nowhere Sweet Stuff contest and kidnaps Muriel in order to get her secret recipe, another secret recipe of hers. Meanwhile, Courage must defeat Katz in a staring contest. It will take a surprising hero to come to both Courage and Muriel's rescue and save the day. What did you think of Kat's Candy?
I thought it was funny that we find out that he's apparently been taking second place in the Nowhere Candy contest for many years. And like you said, every time they run into this guy in other situations, they apparently don't know him.
They don't know who this person is. It's like he's got the Men in Black brain scrambler. I don't, how do they know?
Or he's just I would want him to be like offended by it. Like it would be awesome if Kat acknowledged it and he was like that would be even funnier if he acknowledged it and he was offended by the fact that they didn't remember him from all the other times.
I love it. It is, because this is his
I think this is the third or fourth time we've seen him.
Third or fourth one, right? Because we've had the motel, we've had the one where he turns them into appliances.
Yeah,
this is the third one. Is there a fourth one that I'm trying to think of the other one?
Yeah, I think this is the third time we've seen him, because we got that other character that was a fox that looked kind of very similar to Katz, but was not him. The design looked very much like him, but it was a different character.
Okay, that's right. They were sort of, I think, still settling on what have you. But this is funny enough. This is the first episode with Katz that he does not have the no dogs policy.
That's true. Yep.
Yep. And this is the first time that Eustace uses his Ooga Booga mask on someone other than Courage.
That's right. Yeah, that's true. I
Yeah.
know that was kind of fun that Eustace came in clutch in this one, and I like his a lot of his side plot stuff is kind of subtextual stuff about consumerism, which I loved that. That I'm
Mm-hmm.
all for, which because Cats makes that kind of gooey, like purple jelly type stuff or whatever, and it oozes
Yeah. Yeah.
everywhere. And then you just see Eustace licking it off of the floor as he goes through like a farm or a patch of field with cows. Then he goes through a toxic waste yard and just like continues licking, just continues licking.
Right. It's so funny. Yeah, well, sort of like a dog, right? Just sort of just following the trail of food, right?
Oh yeah, because it's like when certain people, like as people, we get addicted to certain products and consumerism, and you don't really know. And there's certain lengths that people will go to get that right cup of coffee in the morning, or that certain Red Bull flavor. You gotta have it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, probably definitely a knock at the addictive factor of like is that like soda or candy or all this sort of stuff in the market.
Yeah.
Um, Also another tidbit I want to forget to mention, it's a possible reference. So the Sweet Stuff Bakery or the Sweet Stuff Contest
Hmm.
may reference the Sweet Stuff Bakery, which was in the Heads of Beef um,
Oh
episode.
yeah, the Heads of Beef episode. Nice
Yeah,
callback.
yes, yes, yes. Well, that's you could thank the wiki pages for that one. Like sometimes, yeah, my recall ain't gonna be that great. I think you have better recall than me. I think you've proven it in this episode with some nods. But yeah, no, I think it's cool. Like I definitely need help with some of these. But again, here are like a lot of little connections and things that are probably in the show Bible, right? Where they can like reference things and sort of have a little unified universe, right? For lack of a better
Oh
word.
I love it too because, like I said, it just expands on like I would love another episode maybe down the line if we got another contest episode with other characters, and it's just fantastic too that Muriel, like I said, she's got these secret recipes all the time. She's very protective of them. This one is the
Mhm.
caramel, her special caramel apples that are like the
Yeah.
continuous winner every year. They're always taking first place.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Um, I lost my place on my episode list because I know we want to. Normally, what we do is right. Well, we tease what's coming next, right?
Oh yeah, we got to tease what's coming up for our next 3 episodes.
Yeah. Any last thoughts on these episodes before we start to tee up what's coming?
No, I just had a lot of fun. Like I said, anybody, if you're wondering again, these are all on HBO Max. That's where we're streaming these and watching these, just in case you want to check these out. And I had a lot of fun in terms of a grouping of episode. This was very strong as a whole. Like all 3 of these episodes, I think were very strong.
Oh yeah, yeah. And we're gonna have some interesting mix of things coming up. So episode 7, we have Nowhere TV with the return of Le Quack. We've
Nice.
got Mega Muriel the Magnificent,
Mm.
Bad Hair Day, return of Dr. Vindaloo, and returning of Eustace's ma and their sort of struggles with hair.
No, that's going to be exciting. Hell yeah.
Forbidden Hat of Gold, um, following it's sort of like a map quest sort of story.
Okay.
Serpent of Evil River. That'll be interesting, almost like a Jungle Cruise kind of
Okay.
references
So
here.
maybe like a Loch Ness monster type thing, and maybe where they get to go off of away from nowhere, taking a
Mhm.
trip.
And then The Transplant, another Dr. Vindaloo episode. And that's going to be a creature feature episode. So a couple of, yes, I'm actually seeing those are 2 back-to-back creature episodes. So, we're sort of sub-genre hopping again.
Nice. Oh yeah. That's why I love Courage so much is because Courage is, like I said, one of those shows they pull from all aspects of horror because horror is one of those genres that spans and touches just about everything. Like I said, comedy, be it creature features, universal old school monsters, Western stuff. There's all kinds
Yeah.
of horror out there for everybody.
Yeah, I know it's a lot of fun to see them sort of, kind of dip into every well.
Yeah. So before we go, Steve, is there anything on Voices that's coming up? Anything you want to plug? Any streams or videos that are coming out anytime soon?
Yeah, just keep tuning in to Voices from the Mausoleum. We are trucking along to 1,000 subs. So if you can help us out, help us get there, that'll be super appreciated. Yeah, it's moving along. We did an alien live stream, which was one of our like best performing videos that we've ever had. So
That's awesome.
that was cool to see. And so yeah, we're doing summer lives, franchise lives all summer long. We did Alien a couple of weeks ago, so definitely check that out. We did Saw. And then we have, what else do we have coming up? Let me take a look at the calendar real fast, because we've got a lot. I think we're doing Final Destination. We're doing
I think it was at The Purge and Halloween were the other franchises. I believe so.
Halloween. Yeah. Well, thank you for remembering our schedule, because I a lot of my calendar things got disconnected and now I don't have them. So on here.
So it's going to be a fun summer for sure over at Voices.
Yeah. So that's going to be going through, I think, the end of July.
Nice.
Because Angel's in Georgia, and so their school schedule is different from us New Yorkers. So where the kids go back to school in September here, those kids are already back in school in like August. So their summer ends early.
Yeah, that's how it is for us too. Our kids go back the second week of August, like the 12th, 16th. That's usually the week that they go back.
It's like bonkers to me. I know you guys end earlier though. Like you're done by like May something, right? Or
Yeah, usually by May 20th or 21st they're out. Yeah.
Yeah. So for me as a New Yorker, it's always like July and August. Those are the summer months, right? Whenever I hear these kids, I'm like, man, to be in school in August, that just makes But what? At least hopefully there's AC.
Yeah, that's the only thing that sucks. Like I said, I was one of those kids that got stuck in like the barracks one time when our AC went down for like a couple weeks, and it was pretty rough. It was not nice.
No, be stuck in school no AC, like that's. I mean, that's not to say my high school was perfect. I'm sure our AC got busted, and it was public school. It wasn't anything fancy. But yeah, no, this was fun. I had a blast with these episodes. I'm looking forward to the rest of season 2. We're not quite at the halfway point yet, right? Because we ended with episode 6, so I think we'll be at the halfway point by like next week.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be exciting. Like I said, thank you so much, Steve, for joining along again, and hopefully everybody is excited and down to tag along with us. Like I said, HBO Max, that's where you can stream these. You got to have that notification bell poked so you're notified anytime we drop these videos. This should be out. Like I said, I try to keep these out every other Wednesday is when these will be dropping and stuff and everything. We just kind of took a couple weeks hiatus, had some stuff coming up with the families and all kinds of stuff. So that always takes priority over our YouTube lives and everything.
Oh, I mean, my husband's down a kidney, so there's that. So like things happen,
There's good reasons. Yeah,
he donated his kidney. Don't worry. He doesn't have kidney disease. That's why I don't want to worry. My husband's.
I know that's very brave. That's a very brave thing to do. Like I said, I'm like, anytime I think about surgery, because the only time I've ever went down for surgery was when I was 5. I had a thumbtack pop in my eye, and I had eye surgery when I was 5. That was the only time that I ever had to have surgery.
I had a cyst removed. I think that's the most I've had, like surgery.
Okay.
I'm sure my clock's a ticking. One day I'm I'm sure
we'll have some. Yeah, we'll have some crazy surgery stories one day. I mean, my eye one is pretty wild too. That's a pretty wild one, I guess.
No, mine was just. I'm like, it's gonna be TMI. I don't have to talk more about it. This is family.
Thank you. Thank you for sticking around with us all. Like I said, this was a fun video. Definitely a fun one, returning back to nowhere and everything. Please, like I said, like the video. That helps out. Share the video if you like the content and all that. And y'all have a safe and happy day out there. Peace out.